Father of all places, we want to thank you for this time. Here we are. Again, speak to us. Teach us something new today. In Jesus' name we've prayed. Well, we are continuing with our biblical wealth series. And this episode, we are going to look at another character of a wealthy man in the Bible. And this time, the character is Solomon, or commonly known as King Solomon. And you know that King Solomon was a son to the famous King David. So that's the one that we will be looking at. Our key text is in 1 Kings chapter 3, from verse 11 through to 13. And the text reads, I will do what you have asked. I will give you a wise and a discerning heart, so that there will never have been anyone like you, nor will there ever be. Moreover, I will give you what you have not asked for, both wealth and honor, so that in your lifetime you will have no equal among kings. So that is the text that that characterizes this character. In case you want to understand it from that angle, that is King Solomon for you. You remember the story that he prayed, and when he was installed as a king, he had a prayer to say, and that prayer was, Lord, help me, I need wisdom from you. And then God was impressed, according to the text, that now that you've not even asked for wealth, but you've asked for wisdom and discernment, I will actually even give you what you haven't asked for, and that is wealth. That's what I'll give you. And that's the character that we want to talk about this Sunday in this biblical series of biblical wealth. This is episode 7. Now, you have to understand where Solomon comes from. He comes from the tradition of the Jewish tradition, where wisdom is a sign of the fear of God. When you read the Bible, you will agree with me that one of the major themes in the Bible is the theme of the fear of the Lord, as it appears in the wisdom writings of the Bible. The Hebraic name is Ketuvim, and those wisdom writings include Psalms, Proverbs, Songs of Songs, Ecclesiastes, and sometimes they even include Esther, but that's not necessary. So, and the key verses for that is Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7, and Proverbs chapter 9, verse 10, that says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of all wisdom. So according to Judaism, the fear of the Lord is the mother of 4 things. And I want to establish this so that we understand each other very well. The fear of the Lord is the mother of 4 things. 1, according to Judaism, the fear of the Lord is the mother of morality. People behave right because they fear the Lord. And people behave poorly or are wicked because they have no fear of the Lord. When you read the wisdom writings, especially in the book of Psalms, you will see that the wicked are wicked because they have not the fear of the Lord in their hearts. And the upright are upright because they have the fear of the Lord in their heart. It is from that angle that majority of your religious denominations and circles, culture, and even from others' perspective, it is from that angle that a majority of your religions actually attach morality to God, okay? Because it's born from this Judaistic understanding that for you to be morally upright, it is because you fear the Lord. So you do not steal because your God says so. You don't steal because not stealing is the right thing to do, but you don't steal because your God says so. So the fear of the Lord is the mother of morality, number one. Number two, the fear of the Lord is the mother of wisdom. Well, I could give you verses for morality, Proverbs 8:13 and Proverbs 16:6. You could note that down. You'll confirm. So the second thing that the fear of the Lord is the mother to is wisdom, as far as Judaism is concerned, and all your denominations and religions. The fear of the Lord is the mother of wisdom, because like the verses that I read to you of Proverbs 1:7 and Proverbs 9:10, and there's also Proverbs 14:27, and we also have Proverbs 15:33. Okay, Proverbs 15:33. Excuse me. Good. Proverbs 15:33, and then 1 Kings 13:11 to 12, what we just read, also indicates that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So ancient people, including Jews and even your ancestors, believed that people were wise because they had the fear of the Lord. People were wise because they were speaking to the gods. That's why people were wise. Every wisdom comes from the gods. So the fear of God, okay, is the beginning of wisdom, is where that tradition comes. Then the fear of the Lord also, I am trying to break down for you the major theme of the Bible known as the fear of the Lord so that you get to understand, because we're dealing with this biblical character known as Solomon, who is celebrated as the wisest man, and his wisdom came from God. Yes, that's what I'm trying to investigate. I am digging a foundation here, and I hope that I don't lose most of us in that foundation. By the time we get on the ground, we will still be together. I pray that that happens. Well, then the fear of the Lord, according to Judaism and even other cultural beliefs, is the mother of wealth. People are rich or poor based on how much they fear the Lord. The poor are those who do not worship the Lord. The rich and the wealthy are those who are in good terms with the Lord. I think you've heard that kind of teaching. People are blessed by the gods. People do not get wealth from workplaces and making sure they understand the systems of operation, of financial management and making. People are blessed and financially wealthy because they have the fear of the Lord, or they have a special relationship with the gods. So that is the entire framework of belief. People believe that you are blessed because you are in a special relationship. I see many people going to churches today to prosper. I've even heard of a new trend known as the prosperity gospel. People go to church to get rich, something that I've been yapping and fighting against for quite a while. You are blessed, you are blessed, you are blessed. Even others have cards. Even others had cards that they throw to those that want to be blessed in one way or another. Because people believe that wealth is in relation to the fear of the Lord. So those who are poor have been cursed by the gods, and those who are rich have been blessed by the gods.
For it is written in Deuteronomy 28.
Because of the fear of the Lord. Yes, sir. So I think it's very, very important that we understand. That's what's number 3. Number 4, the fear of the Lord again, finally. The fear of the Lord is the mother of proper health. People are sick because they do not fear the Lord. People are healthy because they fear the Lord. Okay? So those who were lepers in the Old Testament were cursed and the gods were angry with them. That's why their health was in a detrimental state, because they have no fear of the Lord, so they have poor health. So people are sick because they have no fear of the Lord. And I've even heard in some Pentecostal circles that you cannot fall sick. This is a disease-free zone. Okay? It is because you do not believe. you cannot have faith and then fall sick, because falling sick means that your fear of the Lord has declined in one way or another. Therefore, you cannot eat your cake and have it. That's their argument. You can't say that you believe in God and then say that you have malaria. How? A child of God, the fear of the Lord. So those are the traditions, okay? So for them, diseases are not caused by bacteria and bad viruses. Diseases are caused by how much you do not fear the Lord, and how much faith you have will determine how much health you have. You've heard about that. All that combined in the prosperity gospel. All that combined in that prosperity gospel. So I thought that it's very important for us to begin at that point. For us to understand this character properly, known as Solomon, one of the wealthiest people in the Bible that we know. And this is the guy that we need to talk about today. Very quickly, I hope time will be enough for all of us. But when you look at the life of Solomon, did Solomon fear the Lord? It's a very important question for us to ask. Did Solomon fear the Lord? Okay. Therefore, if he feared the Lord, was he a morally upright person? One. Number two, was he a wise man? Number three, was he a wealthy man? Number four, was he a healthy man? Because these are the characters, okay? These are the demonstrables that show that someone fears the Lord or he doesn't, okay? Amen? So did Solomon really fear the Lord? Now, Solomon was the wealthiest king that you guys have known, or actually that we have actually read from the Bible. He was the wealthiest king, okay? But have we ever taken time to investigate how wealthy this man was? Okay? Lord have mercy. Okay, excuse me. Yes, I was asking whether we have taken time to investigate how wealthy this brother was. Okay, now let's go to the rich Solomon and we investigate his life. And then you see how wealthy this man was, how he accumulated his wealth, okay? And then we see whether we can learn one thing or two. First of all, Solomon takes power after his father. But there's a difference between Solomon and his father. They have different callings. David is a fighter, and he has fought almost all neighboring and distant kingdoms to ensure the stability of Israel. Throughout the reign of David, it was all wars. He was fighting left, right, and center to make sure that Israel enjoys peace and tranquility. That's what David did. He was a fighter. His calling was in that. That is what he could offer to Israel. Okay? He neutralized all the enemy states at the borders and beyond the borders. That is what he did. You see, leaders cannot do everything. Every leader has a calling, and they serve within that capacity. And I think that is what David did. I normally tell people that Uganda has got a David. And the problem with you Ugandans is that you keep asking David economic questions. Yet, David is an answer to military problems. Okay? And it is very unfair for you to judge a David, okay, on economic terms. And yet, the David that you have in your Uganda here is a military man. I hope you click. All right, then we'll get to that maybe in the future. But this is the kind of kingdom that this brother who is not a fighter, Solomon, inherits. So what do you do when everyone wants to attack you and you don't know how to fight like your father did? Well, Solomon comes up with a very interesting approach to neutralizing the neighboring and distant enemy states. And what was the approach? Very simple. This is what he did. He started marrying from every country that had the potential to attack them. He became an in-law. That was the plan. So you've heard that Solomon had many wives, isn't it? 1,000, 300 official marriages, and 700 concubines, isn't it? The 300 official women were covenantal women. These were diplomatic marriages. That's why he married those many women that he married. These were strategic marriages. He married for strategy so that he can make peace with those that could attack him. They couldn't attack their in-law. That's why he married many women, because he couldn't fight like his father. So for him, his approach was make friends with your enemies. Okay? And then you can stabilize your country. You understand? Now, in the context of wealth making, isn't it? Don't you think that some of you need to marry in some families? How many? As much as you can. But this is the strategy. This is the strategy. Yes. You know, there's some of you that need to marry from that. Because 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 1 says, Solomon made an alliance with Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and married his daughter. He married from Egypt. Yes, 1 Kings 3, 1. You see, Solomon's many marriages were primarily diplomatic tools. Because in the ancient Near East, when you married, okay, from their clan and you married a princess, moreover, because Solomon was a king, he was marrying from the royal families. So the 300 women, official women, are princesses of various kingdoms. You understand? So that's why Solomon married like that. Okay? In 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 1 to 3 says, King Solomon, however, now there's this kind of accusation. King Solomon, however, loved many foreign women. Okay? They were from nations about which the Lord had told the Israelites, you must not intermarry with them, because they will surely turn your hearts after their gods. Nevertheless, Solomon held fast to them in love. He had 700 wives of royal birth, 700 wives of royal birth, and 300 concubines, and his wives led him astray. In fact, he had 700 that were official, and 300 concubines. Now you can imagine 700 weddings. Because those are the enemies that he needed to neutralize so that he can maintain his wealth and the stability of his country. Yes, of course there were many. His father, I told you, his father fought enemies on the borderline and beyond the borders. For the future. To secure the future. Solomon married all those. So imagine the wealth that he got from these 700 women. Because wherever he married, they gave him wealth. As the Muko. No, he gave their little. They gave more. Because they were marrying their daughter to king. These were royal families. 700 royal with wives of royal birth. Do you know what it means you were Muganda Enoka? Do you know what it means if you married Sangali Ambogo? Are you the one who gives? So how much can you give? Well, they will copy you. If Sangara Ambogo decide that you will be, you can be. President. So do you see how strategic Solomon was? We begin from that. We began from that angle. This is how strategic Solomon was. Now, for those of you who are not yet married, do you see how important it is for your wealth, the person you marry? Do you see how important it is? The person that you marry. It matters. To ensure the safety and the security of his country, number one, but to make sure that he can garner wealth and resources from these 700 wives of royal birth and 300 concubines. Now, these concubines were daughters of these gangsters. Yes. Very strategic. So it is the person that you marry, okay, is important to your wealth. That's the first thing that the Bible teaches us. So while you are marrying, isn't it? Be careful. Be careful. But the person you marry is not only important to your wealth, it's also important to your belief. Hello? It is also important to your belief. If you're a Christian like myself and you get married to someone who is not a Christian, there is that kind of influence. The Bible says in 1 Kings 11, verse 4 to 8, as Solomon grew old, his wives turned his heart after the gods. He followed Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Sidonians, and Molech, the detestable god of the Ammonites. So he decided attending the services of his wives. So I just needed to warn you about that as well. Amen? But how was Solomon, again, accumulating his wealth, and what was he doing? Well, Solomon, now that was external, isn't it? Internally in the kingdom, how did Solomon become rich? Again, another element of the wealth of Solomon, isn't it? Yeah. The other way Solomon became that rich and that wealthy, it was through forced labor. Solomon instituted a massive state-controlled labor force in Israel. So he made sure he conscripted his own citizens to build his grand projects. This was not merely hiring workers. It was a form of state-imposed servitude. He turned the citizens of Israel into his workers. Forced labor. So, all the citizens of Israel were working for him. I will give you a verse. Chapter, 1 Kings again. 1 Kings chapter 5, verse 13 to 14. The Bible says, King Solomon conscripted laborers from all Israel, not from foreign countries, from all Israel, 30,000 men. He sent them off to Lebanon in shifts of 10,000 a month, so that they spent 1 month in Lebanon and 2 months at home. Adoniram was in charge of the forced labor. Now, this verse explicitly states the conscription of Israelites for hard labor in the Lebanon to procure timber for the projects of Solomon. In 1 Kings chapter 9, verse 15, the Bible says, here is the account of the forced labor King Solomon conscripted to build the Lord's temple. His own palace, the Lord's temple number 1, his own palace, the terraces, the wall of Jerusalem, and Hazel, Megiddo, and Gaza. These were his personal projects. This is the extensive projects built by the conscripted labor force. In fact, the Hebrew word that he used for forced labor in those verses, isn't it, is mass. Now, mass is the same word that was used in the slavery of Egypt. In other words, he turned the Israelites into his slaves to serve him. Hey, so you think it is only about Solomon? Well, I'm going to tell you what happens in your world. Isn't it? Have you looked at the hierarchy of big companies and big corporations? Eh? Now, have you seen the people who do the hard work and how much they are paid? And those at the top, how much they gain? Eh? That is how wealth is garnered. You make sure you exploit others.
So in Uganda, you find a company where the topmost employee earns Uganda shillings 50 million.
50 million.
But the bottommost employee,
that
is the askari, the office cleaner, earning 200,000 Uganda shillings. The same company.
In the same company. Wealth men, isn't it? It is a principle, I don't know how they call it. It is a principle in their operations that make sure you get cheap labor. Yes. Get cheap labor. If need be, force it. Those farms that you see in Uganda that look healthy, wealthy men go to the prisons, pay for prisoners, come and work and take them back.
Also, the reason why China is the economic superpower of the world is because the biggest companies in the world, which were American companies, in the 90s and the 2000s, they wanted cheap labor. So they looked for a country which would provide quality cheap labor. China. They took the apples of this world. They took the operations. They don't work there.
To China.
And the good thing about the Chinese, the cheap labor copied.
The cheap labor were fast learners.
And they transferred to their country. And that's how it goes. Because of cheap labor.
Cheap labor. Bosses must pay peanuts. The maid who works non-stop in your house is paid 150,000 shillings.
100.
100 is the standard.
150.
Hey, I am not serious.
You're not a good capitalist.
Do you understand? So Solomon was a capitalist, manipulating labor. He turned his own citizens into slaves for his projects. And all he did was to invite guests. He turned Israel into a tourist attraction center. People could just come and see what he has done, but at the peril of his own citizens. That is how people make money. You cannot make money when there is no, at the foundation of your skyscraper. There must be skulls of human beings who are toiling so hard to make sure they maintain your glittery projects. That's capitalism. It is in the Bible.
I told you the company where two askaris, everybody was paid 200 BGA.
Yes.
And then they were hiring the dog that was paid 3.8 million per month.
The human being security guards were paid 200,000 shillings each. Then they hired a dog for security, the same thing. And it was paid 3.8 million. Because they hired this dog from a particular company.
Capitalistic company.
Manipulate. If you want to make money, make sure you get cheap labor. If need be, let it be forced labor, because for him he had power. So he forced the labor. Make people work for you for free. Because these guys were working for free.
Give them lunch.
It was only food.
Hold on.
30,000 men working for free. And they were told, you are working for your nation. Be patriotic.
You're protecting your own gains.
You're protecting your own gains. Be patriotic. 30, and they worked in shifts. 10,000 in Lebanon. Let me go to number 2. Heavy taxation and administrative burden in the kingdom of Solomon. Let me give you verses. 1 Kings chapter 4, verse 7 says,
Solomon had 12 officers
yes,
over all Israel,
yes,
who provided food for the king and his household. Each man had to make provision for 1 month in the year.
Yes.
Israel.
Now, these 12 governors, district governors, had what do you call it? Had a goal, a set goal. Over all Israel, they had to supply these provisions for the king and the royal household. Each one had to provide supplies for 1 month in the year. There were 12. So one district, okay, had to take care of the budget of the palace, number 1. That's the royal household. And the king. Now tell me how much you had to collect as the governor.
Take care of the family.
Yes, because you are the governor, the budget of that district must take care of the district itself, isn't it? But it must have a portion to take care of the king and his household for an entire month. Then we go to another district.
Hey.
So yes, so how much do you have now to collect taxes?
Hey.
Do you see, do you know why in Uganda you have political wealthy men? This is wealth from your taxes. This is why everyone wants to run into politics. Because when you go into politics in Uganda, you're going to be rich. Why? Because the wealth in politics is tax money. Are you following? Let me read you another verse. 1 Kings chapter 4, verse 22 and 23.
Solomon's provision for 1 day was 30 cores for fine flour.
For 1 day, 30 cores of finest flour.
And 60 cores for meal.
And 60 cores of meal. Because in the palace, every day it is party after party.
And 10 fat oxen.
10 head of stall fed cattle.
And 20 pasture-fed cattle.
And 20 pasture-fed cattle. Now, all these are cows, but differently fed. Ez'amata n'ez'ennyama. Omukulu talya buliza amata. Amwino ne talya n'ez'ennyama. Continue. 100 sheep.
Besides herds and gazelles.
Besides herds and gazelles, not counting the herds and gazelles, 100 sheep. And goats.
And fatted fowl.
That is daily. Yes. Solomon, listen, the verse says, Solomon's daily provisions. Solomon's daily provisions. The guy has got 700 wives, official wives, 300 concubines, and every day he has not less than 1,000 guests. So you have to make sure you sustain the budget of the king. Biblical wealth. Now, do you see how governments burden their citizens? This is a state house budget.
Every time the president of Uganda makes an internal visit in the country, he uses over 1 billion Uganda shillings, 1.1.5.
You understand? Yes. The United States has got the biggest government tax. I mean, debt, not tax, debt. Because the expenditure of the government is... Same thing is happening here. And this is why everyone wants to run into government. Daily provisions. Now, this is how the man became rich. You will tell me whether this is a blessing from God or from the people, the pain of the people. You guys will tell me. You tell me. Now, this list illustrates the staggering consumption of the royal court, all supplied by the taxation of the 12 districts. So if it was your turn, this is your month, governor of this district, that district had to go through all that pain until they moved to another district. Now you know why your businesses are struggling. Yes, because you have 600 MPs and every MP has to get away with 400 million. 200 million shillings for a car. The salary, the administrative cost is so huge.
In Uganda, you import one item.
Yes.
By the time you put it in your shop, by the time you sell it to someone, you paid about 6 to 7 taxes on one item.
Just on one item. Why? Because your administrative cost in the royal palace is so huge. It is in the Bible. Now, according to 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 4, this verse is so critical. Okay?
Your father made our yoke heavy.
Now, that was David. Why? Because the expenditure on the wars that David had to sustain was so huge. So the yoke was so much on the people. It is the same thing that is happening in the United States. These things are in the Bible. Don't look for prophecy. The Americans are tired of the wars. They spend a lot on the wars. That was the very thing that was happening in the reign of David. But you see, the leadership of the United States keeps telling their citizens, wherever we go to fight, we are looking for resources. The citizens are saying, where are they?
Trump has changed the song.
Yes.
He's telling whoever the US is fighting for,
yes,
to pay the bill for the weapons and the soldiers who are going to...
Exactly. He has changed because he knows the expenditure. And during the wars of David, the yoke was so heavy on the citizens of Israel. That's why they remind the son, continue, your father put a heavy yoke on us.
Now therefore,
yes,
lighten the hard service,
the harsh labor,
and his heavy yoke upon us, and
we will serve you. Don't be like him. Don't be like him. But he was gaining so much that he could consider the pain of his citizens. Now, let me give you a wealthy principle, which is a capitalistic one. For you to be wealthy, isn't it? You have to have 3 characteristics in a capitalistic environment. 3 fundamental characteristics. Number 1, you must need wealth more than anyone else. Not want, not desire. Wealth must be a need, something that you cannot live without.
It should be something you must die for.
It should be something that you must die for. Number 1. Number 2, you must be greedy.
Very much so.
You must be very greedy. In other words, never at one point feel satisfied. That's how you make money. Why are you okay? Why are you okay when you have $2 billion? You need a third one. Do you have the third one?
No.
The fourth one. Who has taken your $1 of the $5 trillion that you have? Someone has taken your $1. Kill that fool. Kill that fool. Kill that fool. He took your $1. He's threatening your existence. Kill that fool. Hey, 4-story buildings.
One evening, bamusanga yenyola n'omwana w'omuco. Omwana yamusuubiza okumuwanga nusu lukumi buli lunaku. Amaze ennaku bbiri.
The owner of 4-story buildings, 4 properties, each worth $2 billion in Kampala, okay, was fighting a meat vendor who had not paid for the last 2 days, and each day has to pay 1,000 shillings. Kill that fool! Kill him! My 2,000! My 2,000! Now, you're going to make wealth.
Pastor, and if that wealth reduces and you can't add it, you rather lose your life.
You rather lose your life.
There is one of the richest Germans during the 2007 financial crisis. He was worth 3 million euros. He lost 1.5 million euros, billion, I think, 1.5 billion euros, and he committed suicide. Rather die than see his wealth going to.
So Solomon is willing to kill and torture the people that he leads as long as he can maintain his projects. And he stays a rich man and a celebrated wealthiest king around. At whose cost? At the citizens' cost. Biblical wealth, ladies and gentlemen. The Bible sees everything, not the Bible. God sees everything. And there's nothing new that we're doing. All your politicians are doing internationally, former politicians did. This is political wealth. What happened? What happened? 1 Kings chapter 9, verse 20 to 22. There's something I want to point out.
All the people who were left of the Amorites.
That is first verse chapter 9, verse 20 to 22, right?
Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, who were not of the people of Israel.
Yes.
Their descendants who were left after them in the land, whom the people of Israel were unable to destroy utterly. This Solomon made a forced levy of slaves.
Buli munaku, those were turned into laborers. But however, in Israel there were 12 tribes, right? all the slaves that were doing forced labor, isn't it, came from the 10 tribes of Israel. Judah and Benjamin did not have candidates for forced labor. So there was this internal resentment. The Jews are not touched, but the rest, the Reubens, the Issachars, etc., were forced into labor. We are candidates for forced labor. What is going to happen to the kingdom, to the United Kingdom of Israel? It is going to divide. When is it going to divide? When Solomon dies and his son takes charge. Rehoboam takes charge. Chapter 12. Chapter 12.
Verse?
Chapter 12, verse 11.
11. And now,
yes,
whereas my father laid upon you a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke.
Now that
my
is
father chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions.
Now that is Judah speaking, because Judah is the biggest tribe. So it takes advantage of its numerical strength to abuse the rest of other tribes. And all kings come from Judah. Did you notice? When he took power and became the king, he said, my father was just joking. Hey, my father was joking. My father made your yoke heavy. Yes, I know, but I will make it heavier. Number one. Number two, my father scourged you with whips. I will scourge you with scorpions. These are leaders. Now, but you see, they had first of all talked to this king. I think it's in chapter 11 somewhere. And I wanted to look for that verse where they tried to reason with him. Okay? And that was the response. That was verse 11. Eh? Go to verse 8. Chapter 12, verse 8.
Verse 8. But he forsook the counsel which the old man gave him.
Go to the counsel of the old men.
Then
verse 5.
And then King, okay. Then he said, depart. All right.
Start with verse 1.
Yeah, Rehoboam went to Shechem. For all Israel had come to Shechem.
To
make him king. And when Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, heard of it, for he was still in Egypt, whither he had fled from King Solomon, then Jeroboam returned from Egypt. And they sent and called him, and Jeroboam and all the assembly of Israel came and said to Rehoboam, your father made our yoke heavy.
Yes.
Now therefore,
that's verse 4. Yes.
Lighten the hard service.
Now lighten the hard service.
And this heavy yoke.
Yes. Yes.
We will serve you.
And we will serve you.
He said to them, depart for 3 days, and then come again to me. So the people went away.
Those 3 days when they left, he sat in a meeting and they told him, if you lighten the yoke, you will not be as wealthy as your father. So they came back the third day, after 3 days.
Then King Rehoboam took counsel with the old men.
Exactly.
Who had stood before Solomon his father while he was yet alive, saying, how would you advise me to answer these people? And they said to him, if you will be a servant to these people today and serve them and speak good words to them, when you answer them, then they will be your servants forever.
They will be your servants forever.
But
if you make a relationship with them and do not abuse them like your father did, but
he forsook
the counsel
which the old man gave him, and took counsel with the young man
He took counsel with the young men
who had grown up with him.
Now, pause. The young men that he took counsel with are the ones that who grew in the palace. They have never seen anything like poverty. They have never slept on hungry bellies. Nothing. They don't know anything like a struggle. Those are the ones that he asked. Those who did not know how food came and how it was made are the ones that he asked. I will come back one day where I talk about that verse. Oh Lord, have mercy. Those are the ones that he asked. Now, go to the verse which we are on now. Then he read verse 11.
And now,
yes,
whereas my father laid upon me a heavy yoke, I will add to
yes,
the yoke.
yes.
My father chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with a scorpion.
Verse 16.
Verse 16. Verse 16 says, and when all Israel saw that the king did not hearken to them, the people answered the king, what portion have we in David?
What portion have we in David? That is the father of Solomon.
We have no inheritance in the son of Jesse. Your tents, O Israel. Look now to your own house.
After your own house.
So Israel departed to their tents.
It was from that point that the United Kingdom of Israel divided, and the 10 tribes that were tortured under the Jewish dictatorship formed their own kingdom because of wealth that was actually persecuting the citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, I could say more things, but for now, this is what I want to say. As far as God is concerned, wealth is a responsibility. God gives you wealth, and that wealth comes with the responsibility. The responsibility to take care of human beings and to take care of resources. We cannot manipulate and exploit fellow human beings so that we can be rich. That is the wrong way of doing things. Because as I speak now, we do not have any legacy of David and Solomon wealth. Zero. We don't even have, even in Israel. I challenge the Israel to tell me the descendants of David today. Where are they? Where is the monument of David and Solomon? In Israel. Where is it? So if you don't use your wealth to take care of people, you are doing it the wrong way. Wealth is a responsibility. It's not for you to enjoy. It is not for you to enjoy and abuse others because you have the power.
So the best way to protect gains is to protect the people.
The best way to protect gains is to make sure that you involve the people. This was the counsel of the elders. If you make friends with these people and actually remove the burden and the yoke, they will serve you forever and willingly. He refused. Finally, wealth is a responsibility to take care of nature. You do not exploit nature for wealth. This is why we have all these disasters. Because we have violated all the laws of nature because we want to be rich. Consumerism after consumerism. Now nature has become our enemy. The Bible is against that. The word of God is against that. The truth is opposed to that. You cannot make enemies with nature. You cannot. Lest you risk death. And I've always told you, nature has two principles. Number one, nature does not forget.
Very faithful.
It doesn't forget. Whoever is abusing nature must understand, nature does not forget. You can build in those swamps, you can cut all the trees down, you can do everything. It doesn't forget. And nature doesn't forgive. When it attacks, you will see. May God bless you. Thank you those who have been with us on this live.